Hey, this is Andrew, and I'm chatting with Milky.
Nice
Oh,
to meet you.
you too. Good
And
evening to you.
yeah, thank you. Good morning. To kick off, could you kind of tell us a bit about how your musical journey began?
I started playing or learning to make music when I was about 12, when I found out that the neighbor's kid had a guitar and that I could do it, that I could actually play as well. So I was like, I told my dad, he's playing guitar. Can I play guitar? And my dad's like a big music enthusiast. So we went out and we got me like a cheap, like £50 slab of wood and six strings on it. And then it just kind of went from there. And then I joined a band like within the first couple of weeks of playing. I didn't know what I was doing. And yeah, now so many years later, I'm putting out the music that I was always like premeditating.
And so you also kind of like started your creative career as a model, and you worked with like Louis Vuitton, Versace, and Dior, which is a pretty impressive list. How do you think those kind of experiences within that industry help shape your musical endeavors, and kind of like, do you think any of like anything you learned there kind of spills into how you create your music?
I think that first and foremost, what I learned from that endeavor or those 10 years of my life was more the visual side of things, like visual concepts, and you just kind of learning from these greats that I was working with, like what art direction is, what concepting is. So the way I approach my visuals, I kind of create like a 360 three-dimensional world to go with each single. Um, but through the modeling, like you get on a plane by yourself, you're in a hotel room by yourself, you go do the job, you don't really know that many people, you're just like listening to a lot of music, or I was just like, I'd have my headphones in, I had my headphones in for like 10 years basically. And through listening to so much music, I could kind of like, I was just like figuring out, right, when I go back to music, because that was always the plan, what am I going to sound like? Because I grew up with rock and I grew up with a lot of pop. And then in my 20s, like early 20s, I would go to clubs, listen, and I'd only go listen to trap music when I was in a club. Like I'm weird with electronic music. I'm like trying, but I can't figure it out. It's just not for me. Um, and then when it came to actually going into the studio like 3 years ago, it was like, right, the more you know, the more you can compare, right? So it was like, and the producer I work with, he's so sick. It's like so good when I have this idea, I'll like play the guitar and then I'll just say, imagine mayonnaise from Smashing Pumpkins, and he knows what to do. Or imagine like the Pharrell drum beat from the Justified album from that one song, and he knows what to do. So I mean, I've gone around, but yeah, the modeling kind of just gave me a lot of time to figure stuff out and see a lot of stuff.
Yeah. And so when obviously you were saying like music was always kind of like the end game, you're always going to come back to it. When you were kind of like transitioning from kind of being known as a model to now being known as a musician, were you kind of like a bit nervous about if people would take you seriously as a musician? Because like in the past, obviously, when people kind of like transition from like film to music or like modeling to music and acting, like people kind of get a bit, I don't want to say judgy, but maybe like skeptical.
I think I always got really defensive when people would say model turned musician, because I started with music and then I did modeling, and I'm actually going back to the thing I've always
Yeah,
done.
exactly.
Yeah, it's been kind of like, I've also seen like on Instagram, for instance, the people, or it was always the case, people, if you post a selfie, you'll get much more likes than posting something you actually really care about. But that's the sad thing about
Yeah.
Instagram. And now that I'm actually posting these things about my music and I'm working really hard on it, it's like I'm having to readjust, because there's like, I went away from social media for a year and I've come back, and it's that like just the parameter of self-worth. I can't, it's like we made this video game for the last
Yeah.
single, and there was like so much work put into it. Like I was like 2 months flat out just working, and then when it came time to posting it, like my Instagram algorithm just like, because so many people are leaving, it was just like it wasn't reaching anybody. So that's like one thing. But then there's the people within the industry that are like, that I've worked with over the years, that are quite established people in the industry, be it editors or designers or photographers. Everybody's being really supportive, because they also, like me, they see creation in not the end result, but the sake of making it. So they were like, as long as you're just making things and it's making you happy, like they're going to support me with everything they've got, and that's been fantastic.
And so now, kind of like diving into the latest song, Shadow Love, which is a great track, by the way. Like conceptually, it kind of explores like the toxicity of love and like wanting something that is ultimately kind of not good for you. What prompted you to explore that theme on this song specifically?
It's kind of like a lot of the songs that I write, I don't understand them until after, like maybe a month or two later, and it's kind of all just like subconscious running out. And yeah, this one, or especially like most of the songs in the album that will be coming out, is dealing with kind of the transition from the self-destructive Andreww to like, I've now kind of rebuilt myself, and I'm getting married, and I'm taking care of myself, and I'm eating healthy. So Shadow Love was kind of one of those things where I was like, I think deep down I was still like, oh, I do miss being self-destructive. I do miss being reckless, like just going out into the night and just absolutely not knowing what happened the next morning, looking on your phone, and then you see all the pictures of where you were. So yeah, I think there was something inside of me that was just like, right, let's just get this out.
And so one of the, like you were talking earlier, like you grew up kind of like being most influenced by rock with a bit of pop, and then you were kind of into trap music and electro. And I think one of the things that is like super captivating about the song is that you do kind of like use like dark pop with grunge and like 808 trap beats and all that kind of stuff. So how did you kind of arrive at that final sound, like genre bending, fusing it all together?
In my mind, it was kind of, I've always been attracted to songs that like clash with genres. Like a good example for that is what Aerosmith did with Run DMC back in the 80s. I mean, it's like mind blowing. It's like, hold on, where did that come from? And I actually already started combining these elements in like 2011, 2012. So I have like songs from back then where I was already doing it, but I never put them out. They're like somewhere on an old laptop. But for me, it's not even, I'm not sat there being like, I'm gonna combine this genre and combine that genre. It's more like, it's just how I make music, weirdly. It's just like, this is how I hear it in my mind. So, and then my producer that I work with, Marcus, he's like, his spectrum of the people that he's worked with is crazy, because he's done like, he's produced heavy metal records, he's produced like big pop records, he's produced rap records, and he's like a bit of a nerd like me when it comes to like sound and tuning into like mini details. So with him, it's really, really easy. It's kind of like, I'm really lucky that he's just like, oh yeah, obviously we'll put like a 808 in that part, bring the drums down there, because it's just about changing. If you have a drum set, that's the most influential sound is the drum when putting it into putting the song into a genre box, right? So if you have a rock kick drum and a tom, but you have a trap hi-hat and a snare, that's how you start morphing the whole thing into the genre bending, I guess. I think that's what pop music generally does today anyway.
Yeah, definitely agree. And so you mentioned earlier the video game, which is so fun. Like I sent it and I was like, I'll just take like a quick 5 minutes just to check it out. And I think I was there for like 45 minutes just like trying to beat myself. I think I got like just over like 10,000, I think.
Yeah, that's good though.
Yeah.
That's like well above average.
Yeah, go that. So what kind of prompted you to create this kind of two-dimensional world for the song?
Yeah, I think for every single, I'm always like, what can we do to just like help this song? Because we're such visual creatures. Like all we do is look at a screen every day. Like we also make like, I make a cassette for every release. There's like a physical cassette and so on and so forth. But for the video game, I think it was like just the vibe of the song, and I was like thinking, what could we do? And then a friend of mine, I was like, he started a programming class, and I was like, what do you mean a program? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna start making video games. And I was like, can we do that for a song? He was like, yeah. And then, but he wasn't good enough at that time. I still don't think he's good enough. And then the same day, a friend of mine posted something about video designer. I hit him up same day, and he was like, let's do it. And then like 3 months later, the video game was there.
Yeah.
So it was organic. It was supposed to happen.
Because you designed a lot of it as well, is that correct?
No, that's the thing. I basically, when I had a Zoom call with him, his name's Claudio Cimini, he's from Milan, and I had a Zoom call with him, and I was like ranting off. I was like, oh, just imagine me as like the avatar, but imagine like in a Tim Burton world, and watch the movie Jack Skellington, and just watch like this and this and this, and watch some David Lynch and blah. And I think it just like, he didn't know what was happening to him. And then 2 months later, he kind of sent me the first draft, and I was like, oh my God, that's exactly what I imagined. He just nailed it. He absolutely killed it. So all credit to him. I didn't do anything. I just rambled on.
And so also the music video, like the video game kind of doubles as a music video, and we kind of see you hit a score of 11,020. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you gone back to try and pick your score since then? Are you like,
no.
Ultimate?
I was like, to be honest, by the time the song came out, I'd already played the game for like 3 months. And when the song came out, I was like, first of all, I can't hear this song anymore. I can't see that video game anymore. Just get it away. Yeah. I don't know. When the songs come out, I listen to them once very loudly in the apartment of the day of release. Just like, it's out, listen to it over Spotify. I never listen to them ever again.
Yeah.
Like the other songs, never listen to them ever again, because they're not mine anymore. So it's just like, here you go. Yeah.
Present. You don't take a present back, I guess.
Yeah.
And so Shadow Love was a pre-existing work of art, like a photograph, a painting, a sculpture, like that already exists. Which artwork do you think would sum it up the best, besides the video game?
I mean, if, like, for some reason, like what comes to mind is like a mix between the Siamese Dream, Smashing Pumpkins album cover, and like a black and like one of the Franz Klein paintings thrown in.
Yeah, it's sick. And so when it comes to like writing and recording, do you have kind of like a set creative process that you follow each time, or is it kind of like each song kind of takes on its own process?
A bit of both, because I'll write the foundation, I'll write the guitar, and I'll have like a vocal melody in my head, and I'll take that to my producer. But I don't write lyrics until I'm in the studio and the song is like ready.
Yeah.
I don't write any lyrics at home. I have like this little list on my phone where for the last 10 years I've been writing down just like little sentences or paragraphs and stuff like that. So I can always go back and just like go through 10 years of ideas. But yeah, we build the foundation, build the song, and then I'm really worried. I'm always scared about writing at home, because I need someone around to be like, that's good, that's not good, that's good, that's not good. And like normally people would be like, well, you should practice that, but no. Like I'm a creature of habit. So if it's worked out like the way it has until now, I'm just gonna stick to it.
So you've got 3 singles now. Like, what's next? You're gonna pump out an EP. I think you mentioned an album earlier. That will be absolutely.
Yeah, we got. So this was the 3rd single. There's 3 more coming, and then by end of the year, album.
Awesome.
And it's Yeah, everything's a bit reversed because everything's already done. Like I'm pretty much figuring out the second album already.
And so obviously you're unable to tour at the moment because UK, you guys still in lockdown essentially.
Well, the first restriction lifts happened yesterday, where we can now meet groups of 6, and then I think pubs open on the 12th of April, and that's when you know like shit's getting back to normal. That's like a good sign.
Yeah, it's so weird because here, like, I want to say that we've pretty much been like back to normal since like
Yeah,
August.
it's crazy. You guys are having festivals, right?
Yeah. Our first festival back was like a few days ago. As of yesterday, like stadium shows can happen again.
No.
So it's so weird, like then hearing about like the northern hemisphere that like most of you guys like still in lockdown and like the pubs haven't even opened yet.
It's like a parallel universe. It doesn't feel like we're on the same planet because we're like, even in the UK, we're doing good. Like my friends in France and Germany and everything, they're starting at zero again. Like it's really scary. And you guys are living the life. Like I wish I was with you.
So yeah, but kind of leading off that, obviously you're not able to tour at the moment. Do you have kind of any like tentative touring plans post-pandemic? Like any places you really want to hit, and like what would one of your live shows look like?
Like places I'd really love to play would be like Japan and South America, and I've never been to Australia. Like I'd love to. It would give me the possibility, hopefully. I mean, it could be I'm just playing every pub in Hackney. I don't know. But yeah, it would give me the possibility to hopefully play in all these different places. And yeah, because of the music being like, I want to respect the hip hop element. So I'm playing with the concept of how do we make it possible, kind of like almost what Limp Bizkit did back in the day. So you have like a DJ, but then you have the live band.
Yeah.
And, yeah, what I love about bands like that, or like you have the Chili Peppers as well, where you have like every bandmate kind of is like their own little star.
Yeah.
Like they're such personalities. So I'm like excited for this to open up and then go out and like find like these like crazy individuals and just put everything together.
Yeah.
And that's I find, I don't know, my favorite bands are like people that all look the same and they play great music, but then I find it super interesting, like a constellation of weird people like thrown together on stage. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know, I'm pretty far away from playing live, I think.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we get to see you down in Australia one day.
Yeah, it would be so sick. AC/DC Nirvana is quite good. At the moment, Phoebe Bridgers. AC/DC Back in Black or the Chuck Sum 41 album? The Crow. I think I'm starting to really like Miley again. It was the spring summer 2014 Louis Vuitton, because I had a tuxedo that had like a shiny monogram, like full LV like bust down, and I closed that show, and that was like quite special. So yeah, that one. Probably AC/DC. I'm just yeah.
Oh, rabbit.
Oh shit, Grungy Spice. I don't know. I think if something's a pleasure, you shouldn't be guilty. Someone like had a go at me the other week because I'm still obsessed with the first 3 albums of Coldplay. Just like masterpieces.
Yeah.
And someone was like, "Oh, you can't listen to Coldplay." I was like, "What are you saying? What are you talking about?" So I guess I don't know. Fuck that person. So yeah. Kid Cudi.
I like that, like you're like living up like the whole like you love multiple genre things. So you're like AC/DC was your best concert, but you want to go and call it Kid Cudi. Like that's amazing.
Yeah, that would be so sick.
Yeah.
Remember how long you waited for this? Like, because I'm not scared of things not working. I'm quite petrified of things actually working. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, just head down. Even then, just stick to it. This is crazy because we go back to this one band, but my dad made me go sit in his like man cave, and he was like, I'm gonna put a CD on and you listen to everything, and when it turns off you can leave the room. And he put in AC/DC Back in Black.
Sick.
And I was just sat there, and then after the album I got up and I was like, I'm gonna do that. All right, bye-bye.